In light of recent events, namely her getting a unique augment, here is a Noshiro review. The augment nearly doubled her DPS, but spoiler alert, it doesn't change anything for most players. D tier for campaign, C for bossing, and B for manual. Noshiro is an acceptable tank, especially against mobs with lower hit stat. With best in slot gear, the augment gives a massive 64, 84, and 109% damage against light, medium, and heavy respectively. So it basically doubles her damage. Almost all of this gain is from the new barrage, which will account for over 40% of Noshiro's total damage. For new players without good gear, this barrage will do well over half of her damage, which means that she can still do decent damage without good gear. However, it only brings Noshiro up to a usable level. I don't recommend new players to farm or buy her. Therefore, the augment has S tier gain, but is not so worth because the ship herself is not recommended. Noshiro remains as a torpedo buffer, which is only good for manual, and there are better torpedo damagers and buffers than her, like Noshiro Muse. And she can be used as a buff bot for EX high scoring at level 1, but then she can't use the augment, so her usage there does not change with this new augment. Here is her DPS on auto. She goes from 500 DPS, which is downright awful, to 900 DPS, which is like barely acceptable for a tank. So she does less damage and tanks worse than a lot of recent gold ships like All3, Dead Alive Vanguards, Ryu Leon, and Line. As I said, 40% of her damage is the new barrage, which is very good. It activates every 10 seconds, which is good for mobbing. I'm sorry, it tries to activate every 10 seconds because we love ships with RNG skills in the year 2025. This fixed but super spread pattern means its hit rate is about 40% against a single target, and as usual, that's taken care of in my DPS calculations already. So overall, Noshiro is C tier for single target bossing, B tier for chapter 14 mob, but D tier for the other endgame campaigns, and B tier for manual EX where she can be used at max level or at level 1. Noshiro Muse is still better for most intents and purposes. Finally, here's an example standard gear for campaign, see the description for more. And this is an example fleet with double Noshiro buffing Ibuki for manual without caring about EX score.